What's up, everybody? Fairway to Heaven Season 2 finale is here. We are going to break down and recap the entire 2022 season, look ahead to 2023, talk fantasy golf, gambling, all different kinds of things. Stay tuned. Fairway to Heaven starts in 1 minute. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven here. We are wrapping up Season 2 of this podcast and this show here. I am Phil Stiefel, your host at Beard of Knowledge. Joining me, as always, my partner in crime, Jason Sullivan at jsully2121. We're live to Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all on the DSM Media Network. And, of course, the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page. Make sure you like, share, retweet, all those great things, and follow. And if you want to get interactive with the show, make sure you head over to the DSM Media YouTube page. It's the easiest way for me to put my comments, questions, thoughts, whatever you have, just like this. And some of my examples I've got up on the screen here. What is up, my friend? Jason, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great, dude. I can't believe golf season's already over. I know it's over for like 2 weeks, but still,
Yeah.
it seems like it flew by this year.
Season in sports.
Yeah. There's the President's Cup and then 1 week, and then that's it. So
yeah, that's literally it. And you know what? And I think we've kind of dabbled in talking about this. We don't have a set schedule, but we are not going to wait till January for Season 3 of Fairway to Heaven to start. We are going to keep it going all year long. We might not do it every single week, but we are definitely going to tackle some of the bigger fall swing tournaments as they come along. We just got to hash that out, as we go. But yeah. Jason, I mean, you had last week Tour Championship. Before we get into the whole season as a whole, Tour Championship last week. Both of us picked against Scotty Scheffler last week. I had Xander, who had a fantastic day 1 and day 2. You had Rory, who had a great day 3 and an even better day 4. And you just smashed everything. You saved the best for last. Rory McIlroy wins the Tour Championship. What are your thoughts on how Rory played? Scotty Scheffler not being able to hold on to it at the end. What are your thoughts of last week?
It was an awesome week. Like you said, too, like it just – I don't know. It was like almost like poetic justice kind of in a way. Like Rory's kind of turned into like the face, him and Tiger, like the face of anti-LIV Tour pretty much. And the fact that like he played awesome. Like you said, like he just played flawless. And to start off with a triple bogey on the first hole and then to come back and just play the way he did over the weekend, it was awesome to watch him play. I just love Rory anyway because he's just such a cool dude. It's like he doesn't lose his cool. I know he's his own worst enemy inside his own head, but like he just seems like such a likable guy. Like, they came out and said, he went over to Scotty's parents and said sorry after. Everybody's seen that clip now. And it's just like, He just seems like a good dude. And I felt a little bad for Scotty because he did pretty much choke it away on Sunday. I mean, he played awful on Sunday, but it was an awesome tournament.
We'll get back to Rory and the face of golf conversation in a minute or two. But so this is the same problem I had last year with the way it all – You're making me dizzy here, I've had a couple beers and I'm ready to yak now. Last year, Jon Rahm had the best chance,
anyways,
in my opinion. And then Patrick Cantlay won, the BMW and played well enough in the Tour Championship to win the FedEx Cup standing. And here we go again. Scotty Scheffler, won 4 times this year? In my opinion, it's the player of the year, but falls short for the Tour Championship. And how many wins did Rory have this year? 1?
I think 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I think he had two, including the Tour Championship, right?
well, yeah, okay, two
Yeah.
counting the Tour Championship. Okay, that's right. Is there a problem with golf? Like this whole FedEx Cup and the championship? I started talking about it with Hunter on his show a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about how more wins and emphasis on wins need to be, emphasized somehow, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I want the guy that wins the most to not just have the advantage to win the FedEx Cup, but maybe what did Scotty Scheffler have? Like 4 or 5 bad holes all weekend?
Yeah.
And he was able to lose with his 2-stroke lead. I don't know. That is literally, I have no gripes with golf anymore, especially this year. That is literally my only gripe with golf. The guy that won 4 times, including the Masters, did not win the FedEx Cup because of 3 bad holes, 4 bad holes. So
Well,
I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's kind of like literally the only gripe I can have.
you had a good point last year too. I thought with Cantlay, it was the same exact thing. I mean, like you said, like Rahm was the best golfer last year. Scheffler from start to finish was the best golfer this year. Rory just, I mean, you can't take away anything. Rory was he was
No,
right there in
not
all
at
the majors. He had a great year, but he just
He had
didn't
like 8
finish.
top
I mean,
10s, 5 top
yeah,
5s, multiple top
obviously a
5
great year.
majors. Yeah, a great year.
But like you said, I mean, when push comes to shove and they announce Player of the Year, like would it shock anybody to be Scotty? I mean, is it
No,
still going to be Scotty? It probably
it
will. I
definitely
would
should,
imagine.
be. I'd be
Yeah,
shocked if it wasn't Scotty. But again, I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Rory because Rory McIlroy is no doubt about it had a great year. Almost 10 top 10s. Like I said, multiple top 5s in majors. Kind of backdoored that Masters top 5 right there.
yeah,
But,
he did.
but that chip in on 18 and all. But that being said, Scotty Scheffler, clear it out, had the best. I mean, anybody that wins 4 times, I had predicted before the season started on week 1 when we first did our first episode back at Tournament Champion Century event back in mid-January. I said Cam Smith was going to win the most events. I said 3 or 4. He won 3 events. Just came, and even that wasn't good enough. That's how good Scotty Scheffler was this year. That 3 wins wasn't enough to be the winningest golfer on tour. He vaulted up from in the mid-20s to number 1 in the world this year. I mean, there was never a time at any tournament that he was ever 1 stroke back, 3 strokes back, 5 strokes back that I didn't think Scotty Scheffler wasn't going to come back and win the event. Anytime he had a 25-foot putt for par, I knew that was going in at all times. Like literally, what my eye test told me, every time Scotty Scheffler teed it up, he was the best golfer on the tour, on the course.
Well, and he didn't really have a letdown. I mean, I guess you can call Sunday. You know, he didn't play great Sunday, obviously, so he kind of choked it away a little bit. But like, he never. I guess he missed the cut at the Open, right? If I'm not mistaken. But like the rest of the year, like he was right there. I mean, we were going through a stretch where like a T15 was kind of a down week for him.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that stretch where it was like, yeah, you won 4 in a row, but then it's like his bad weeks, he's finishing 12th, 11th, 15th. It's like, just he turned into, honestly, when he took on Rahm in the Ryder Cup last year, that was like the turning point for Scotty. I think it was such a big confidence boost, and he just turned into a completely different golfer.
All right, so I mean that all makes sense, but in my mind, the face of golf now, especially with everything that's happened with the LIV Tour, and I mean, I loved Rory's comments since day 1 of it, and like this past weekend, he's like, "Yeah, it was really great to take over the lead on the 70th hole or the 52nd hole, depending on which tour you're playing on." I love it. I love the stand he's making on it, but considering the guy hasn't won a major since what, like 2014. He, in my opinion, is the face of golf now. Not Scotty Scheffler. And Scotty Scheffler is the number 1 ranked player in the world. He's got 4 wins this year. He's the reigning Masters champion. To me, if you look up what the face of golf is, it's Rory McIlroy. And, I mean, I'll get into next year's predictions later, but the question is, like, what would Scotty Scheffler have to do, in your opinion, to be the face of golf? Or is he just not, personality-wise, bold and bright enough to be the face of a sporting tour?
I think you hit it right on the head. I think Rory and Tiger, I think, are the like co-faces of golf right now. Like Tiger's still the biggest draw. Rory's definitely the most outspoken with all this, and he's been like everything he says. I just love him even more this year. But like you said, Scotty, like I think golf fans know who Scotty Scheffler is. You know, if you see Scotty, you're like, oh, that's Scotty Scheffler. If you ask my dad, who watches like some golf tournaments and the majors, I don't think he would know who Scotty. I mean, he knows who he is, but I don't think he would be able to pick his face out. So I think it's the personality thing. He's just kind of a quiet guy. Like he doesn't say anything. The only thing he said last week was talking about his butt cyst or whatever he was talking about. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
He was talking about his injury, and that was the only thing.
Who told you that? Did Jax tell you that?
No, it was. I saw an interview and he talked
okay.
about it, and that was the only thing he talked about. How he had a cyst above his butt crack, and that was the only thing. It was causing him a lot of pain. Like you don't know. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to ever be the face of golf, just because he's not. He doesn't have the personality.
Very happy, going back to his Texas, house with his wife and going to church, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but he likes to keep his little private life. You don't see him out probably partying with the guys, on
doesn't want the attention.
He's too passive and quiet to be the face. But what if he goes on a run? He is so talented. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins another major next year. Wouldn't surprise me if he defended his Masters title or won 2 majors next year. He is that good. Just say he goes on a Tiger-esque type run and maybe wins 4 or 5 more events next year, including 2 majors. Is that even without the personality, is that enough to be the face? Or is Rory just the guy from now on until someone else personality-wise takes over?
I just feel like the personality. I mean, I think golf is in a good spot, I feel like right now. I know that the LIV Tour is obviously taking a lot away, but would it shock you next year? Last year at this point, we were like, Jon Rahm's the best golfer in the world. He is. I'm going to pick him in every golf tournament. He's the best golfer in the world. He kind of fell off a little bit this year. I mean, would it shock you a year from now if we're talking about Rahm again, or JT, or Spieth, or like you said, Scheffler, Hovland, Morikawa? There's a lot of young, really good golfers,
and they're just the elite of the elite. And I have the world golf rankings up on another screen here right now. And obviously, Scotty Scheffler's 1. Cam Smith defected to LIV this week. He's 2. He's going to fall out of that top 10.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
Cam Smith dead to you because he's on the LIV Tour now? That's your guy.
I mean, he was my guy this year. Bryson was my guy last year, and he's dead to me. Look,
they're all dead to you.
I am 100% against the LIV Tour. Look, I want to get into the LIV Tour later, and I want to talk about those comments that Phil made earlier this year, we're dying for the sins of the PGA Tour players, and we're going to make it better. We're going to pay. We're going to martyr ourselves for them. And there are a lot of changes that are happening that I don't know if would happen as quickly as they have if LIV didn't happen. But once you go and take that money, I don't care. Harold Varner said it right. He did all the things right. Look, I'm taking the money. It's going to do a lot of good for my family and my charity. There's no other reason to it. I get that. No one's ever offered me $200 million. Maybe I would compromise my values once it was in front of me. But without that in front of me, I don't think I would compromise my values. So if you compromise your values, you're dead to me. And I'm not betting LIV Tour. I'm not focused on LIV Tour. I don't care about that 52, 54 hole, scramble event team thing. It just does not intrigue me or interest me one bit. That's why all the old guys are winning. Not Dustin Johnson isn't winning. You know what I mean? Cam Smith's not going to go and win 3 LIV events. They don't care. But what you're going to see is all these guys that are on the LIV Tour fall out of the top 10, top 20, et cetera, et cetera. So right now in the top 10, you got Scheffler, Cam Smith, Rory, Cantley, Xander. That's your top 5. 6 is Rahm, JT, Morikawa, Willie Z, and Matt Fitzpatrick. They're your top 10. And do you know one thing that's common about all those guys in the top 10?
They're staying?
All 4 major champions are in the top 10.
Oh, nice.
All 4 defending champions. And guess what? I'm looking at 11 through 20, and there's not one person outside the top 20 that I think will win a major next year. Golf's in great hands. The Davis Rileys, the other young guys, the Mitos, who seems to not be going to LIV and staying on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, Cam Young.
There's a lot of guys in the 25 through 50 range, but none of them are going to win a major because the elite is so elite. I think Rory McIlroy actually will take over the number 1 ranking in the world next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Rahm did. I'm calling it right now. Rory McIlroy will be number 1 in the world next year, and Jon Rahm and Xander Schauffele will win majors next year. Xander Schauffele's kind of flip the script.
You don't think Xander goes? You think Xander stays?
I don't know if Xander stays or not. As of this moment, I haven't heard significant rumors, like the legit rumors, that Xander goes. So until I see someone like a major account or report of him going, I'm not. If a guy like Jason Sullivan says, I've got a source that says Xander Schauffele's going, That's not good enough for me.
Right.
I
I thought you were going to say it was good enough. Ouch. That hurts.
It's nothing against you. If an account like me said it, I wouldn't believe it.
Right.
But I need the legit sources to report it. ESPN, Golf Channel, the real things that vet their sources. I need them to report it, and then maybe I'll believe it. But for now, I think Xander stays on tour. I really do, at least for now. And
you know which one hurt me today for some reason? Or the other day when they said it, is Joaquin Niemann. Like, I just feel like he had such a good year. He had his best year. He's up and coming. What is he, like 23 years old or something? Dude is a stud.
He cracked the top 20. He's 19th in the world.
See, to me, like, I'm not surprised by that Harold Varners who's in his 30s. I'm not surprised by Mark Leishman who's 38. Like, those guys, whatever. But it's like these young guys at 23, 24 years old that, I mean, that dude could be a major champion one day. I wouldn't, bat an eye if he won a major. He's so talented.
If Cam Smith doesn't win that major at the Open Championship, does he defect? Or does he try to hold off to get that major championship first?
I don't know. Good question.
And did you see, who was it? Someone turned down, Hideki. I assumed Hideki was going. And the rumors today, again, not blue check marks, not legit sources, that he's turned down up to $300 million now. They've all up there. They were at 100, then they upped it to 2, and they've upped it to $300 million for him to leave to go play on LIV, and he hasn't done it. And internationally speaking, Hideki's the biggest name in my opinion because it would draw in so much of the Asian, American, and Asian crowd across the world. Him being a Masters champion and stuff like that, that would help the publicity of that tour big time. I don't even think Cam Smith really sways the needle that much for the LIV Tour. I don't. But the good thing, I mean, he's going to drop out of the top 3, top number 2. That gives Rory a bump up to number 2. Rory, I guarantee you, he is going to win 4-5 times next year. Whether he wins a major or not, I don't know. If it's not Xander, Rory will win one. And John Rahm is definitely going to win a major too.
You just brought up an interesting point too with Cam Smith. It's like, it hurts, obviously. Anytime you lose a guy that's that good, it hurts, obviously. But like, he's approaching 30. He doesn't sway the needle, like he doesn't move the needle like the other guys do, like Rory does, or JT, or Morikawa even, or like one of those guys, or Hideki. It's like he's not. I think he's the number 2 golfer in the world. I think if you ask casual golf fan who watches 10 tournaments a year who Cam Smith was, they don't know who Cam Smith is. So I don't know. I don't think he sways it that much either. I had a feeling he would take the money, and he's not. I think people don't realize that he's not really an up and comer. He's almost 30. No. Like he's been around for a while. So it's like I don't know. It's not. It would hurt golf way more if like Rahm or JT or somebody like that went.
Yeah. So the rest of the top 10 again: Scotty, Rory, Cantlay. I don't even think Patrick Cantlay would affect and sway the needle that much.
No.
Xander, maybe not. But Rory, Scotty, and Rahm, maybe Will Zalatoris. Yeah. They're the only guys in the top 10 that would sway the needle. Rory would obviously sway the needle.
I think Justin Thomas too.
Justin Thomas. Sorry, I forgot to mention him. But I wanted to bring up Justin Thomas. I mean, he won a major again this year. He won the PGA again this year. And even him, I don't think he could even be the face of golf. This whole conversation started about who's the face of golf. Literally, all of these names we've named, can any of them outside of Rory really be the face of golf? Maybe John Rahm.
Spieth, maybe.
Spieth does have a little bit of a personality. He's your boy. He made a good comeback this year. Started the year. Where is he on my list here? He started the year at 4. Oh, actually, he didn't go up as much as I thought. When did he? I mean, because I thought he had. We were talking about how much he stunk for a little while there. He started the year 14th and he finished 13th. So I guess maybe he didn't fall as much as we thought, or maybe towards the end of last year he had.
I think that's what it was. I think last year he sucked, and this year he was just good.
Yeah. I don't know. Cam Young doesn't sway the needle.
I'm glad he stayed, though. I'm really glad Cam Young stayed. Just for being a rookie and how good he played this year, I'm glad. I think that's a big get for the PGA Tour.
Rookie of the year, no doubt about it, right?
Oh, yeah. Contended in 2 majors. I mean, dude's a stud. He's going to win a major, too, for sure, I think.
But does it happen right away? I mean, look at some of the names that haven't won a major. I mean, Xander, I'm saying, is going to win a major.
Yeah.
He hasn't won one yet. Will Zalatoris just got his first win a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. Patrick Cantlay hasn't won a major. So Cam Young, while we think he might win a major, it might be a little while. because you look at all those guys that he's got to chase down every single major event. It's a big deal.
Well, and these big boys compete in every single major too. It's like you see, Scheffler's right there in every major. Rahm, to a certain extent, there in every major. JT's right there in every major. Rory. I mean, it's like you see the same guys in the top 10 or top 5 in every major.
And that's why when I look at this list of the top 20, maybe the 20th ranked player in the world, Max Homa, maybe wins a major sometime in the next year or two. But outside of the top 20, Shane Lowry is even going to go to LIV or not. Is Tom Kim, who has now gone from 131 to 21 in the world, is he going to win a major next year? Probably not. I mean, Adam Scott, I'm going down this list. I'm not sure if even some of these guys are on the PGA Tour anymore.
I'm surprised Adam Scott's even that high.
Aaron Wise is 40th now in the world, and he could have been Rookie of the Year.
I love Aaron Wise.
If it wasn't for Cam Young. But is he going to win a major? Is he going to compete? Is KH Lee, who jumped from 63 to 41 this year, is he really going to beat John Rahm on a Sunday in a major for a major title? It's not going to happen next year. That's why if you're not in the top 10, maybe top 20, you legit have no chance in the majors. And you mentioned all these elite guys that are playing in the majors all the time and contending. Now with the new agreement from a couple of weeks ago at the PGA and the players, the elite golfers have committed to playing in more events. So these weaker fields like the Detroit Open or these smaller events.
You have to say Detroit first.
Yeah, it was just the first one that popped in my head. The John Deere Classic, the Barracuda Open. You might see, instead of 3 guys in the top 50, you might see 5 guys in the top 20 competing in these events, which is going to make the fields even tougher all year long.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It also makes it more exciting. They're going to put more money up. That's a given. They're going to PGA Tour is going to put more money up. But it just makes golf better. If you have more studs playing, you don't have the weeks like you just said, like the John Deere Classic. So I think it's good. I mean, obviously, it sucks that it's come to this, but I feel like the PGA Tour is finally doing something. Hopefully they can kind of ramp it up and keep their guys now at this point. But
yeah,
it's also interesting too. I have a question for you.
Run out of money for these signing fees.
Right, exactly. I have a question for you. Do you think, so guys like DJ, Bryson, Cam Smith, these guys that are still going to have exemptions into the majors, do you think they can come back and just turn it on and compete in these majors? Like, you're going to be playing in an exhibition tour, basically, and then all of a sudden you're going to have to kick it into high gear and play in the Masters?
Unless there's a way for them. Obviously, the DP World Tour is, linked with the PGA Tour now, so they're also limited. Is there another tour? Is there an Asian tour they can go to or some other tour that could get them in tournament competitive shape? Maybe, but even that, the courses won't be PGA or major level courses. I don't know if they can. I mean,
and the competition's not the same. Plus the setup's different. I mean,
Dustin Johnson didn't play bad in the Open Championship. I mean, he had a pretty strong showing in it. So I don't know. I don't think so. As it goes on, I don't think it'll be possible. What's Jack's got to say?
Jack's wanted to talk about the LIV Tour.
Yeah.
Tell him peace.
Ask him if Justin Thomas is still his favorite golfer.
Is Justin Thomas still your favorite golfer? I'm your favorite golfer. Okay, go. I'm his favorite golfer. Smart kid.
Has he seen you swing a golf club?
No, but he knows who pays the bills. So smart kid.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be tough for them to compete. Like Dustin Johnson, I said competed in the Open, but how long had he been really off the PGA Tour for? A month and a half. So he hadn't fully lost that competitive age. I don't know. It's gonna be really tough to see. And how long will these other majors allow them to show up? That's the other question that have exemption. So I don't know,
because a lot of them, obviously the guys that are major winners, they have their exemptions are different, but it's just like these guys like Neiman eventually isn't going to have exemptions to get into these. Like, he's going to drop too far in the world rankings, and he's not going to be able to play in these tournaments, which is crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I don't know if they set it in stone, like made it like an official written law or rule or whatever it is then in their bylaws at Augusta. But originally Augusta said they weren't going to let a single player, whether it was a former champion or just somebody that was exempt to play in it, play at the Masters once they joined the LIV Tour. So I don't know if they actually signed that into an official rule, but they at least discussed it publicly. So you might never see Dustin Johnson at the Masters ever again. It'll be interesting. Would you Would you, if you were Augusta, would you want Dustin Johnson not showing up?
First of all, the scumbag won the fake Masters. He didn't even win a real Masters. And then to go on LIV Tour as well, you should get disowned by Augusta National.
Peace out to him.
Yeah.
My question with the LIV Tour is they keep adding more and more guys. What about the other guys at the bottom of the barrel? Is Chase Koepka
That's the funniest part.
this card?
That's the best part.
Is that
they signed 6 guys and then they cut 6. I saw that the other day. It's like you never even heard of these guys, but it's like these poor amateurs.
Then you're cut from the LIV Tour, and then you go with your hat in hand back to the PGA. Please let me back. I'm the PGA. You can't see off camera, but this is the symbol that I'm flipping them the bird and saying, heck no, peace out. Go play on some other Mexican tour, and try to scratch out a living there. Like what does the PGA Tour do with these guys? Because eventually, if enough guys go to LIV, semi-popular guys, and I'm not saying he's a popular guy, but a guy like Pat Perez, who bashed the PGA Tour on the way out, saying, I want to go make more money and play less. Eventually, if enough guys go to LIV, he's going to get bumped.
Yeah,
he's going to need to make money. What are they going to do with him?
It's interesting. I don't. The PGA Tour needs to figure out some way. I know that they're starting to offer more money, so that's one way to kind of combat the whole thing. But I feel like they need to come up with a way to stick it to those guys that leave. Whether it's, I know the PGA Tour doesn't control the majors, the USGA does. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like, does the Open let those guys in? I mean, they did this year, but do they in the future? I don't know. It's hard to say.
One thing that the PGA Tour did, I don't know if you caught this after that meeting the other day, like 2 weeks ago. Something that I actually liked that they did. They did 2 things. One, they eliminated you get some kind of a income for missing the cut now.
Yeah.
So everybody that misses the cut, it's not a lot, like 5 or 10 grand.
I think it's like 1,700 or something, isn't it?
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like 5
maybe
grand.
It is. You might be right.
Yeah. But that plus they're giving those guys that missed the cut, maybe 1,700 is the other part of it. They're giving like a supplemental income for travel expenses on top of it. So maybe it's $1,700 for your travel expenses and then 5 grand for participating in the event so you can pay your caddy and your coaches and stuff like that. They also said anybody that was in I forget what it was, 125 or 150 or whatever, if you commit to X amount of events, whatever it is, 20 events, you're guaranteed a minimum of 500 grand in pay. So that's awesome. Say you miss the cut in every event that you play in, but you play in 20 events. I don't know how you keep your top 125 in that case, but say you just barely keep your top 125 or whatever the cutoff is, but you only make 150 grand this year. They're going to give you so they'll give you the difference up to 500 grand for playing in X amount of events. So they're guaranteeing every golfer a $500,000 a year salary now.
That's awesome.
So
that's
again,
definitely awesome.
The question is, does all this happen if Phil Mickelson and Greg Norman don't start this LIV Tour? That is like the question of the night for me. Does it all happen?
Probably not. And I hate to say it, but like
I hate to say it too.
Phil was kind of right. I mean, he really was. Like, whatever your thoughts on the PGA Tour were, I mean, he's moved the needle. He was the first guy to say it, to come out and do it, and he started a trend. And I mean, it's interesting. And I think there's other big names that are a question now. Like, what is Ricky going to do? Like, I mean, I know he stinks now and he's not nearly as good as he used to be, but like he is a guy. He's a guy that 5 years ago you could have said is one of the faces of golf. So, and he's relatively young. I mean, does he go? I'd be surprised if he didn't. But
I mean, Ricky is probably out of all the names we've mentioned, Ricky's probably the closest to Rory in being the face of golf. Yeah. Ricky could be all Ricky's got to do is win one event. He can win the Barracuda Open next year.
People love
and all of a sudden, he would be in that conversation over Justin Thomas as the face of golf or Jordan Spieth, just because people of his personality.
Yep.
People love Ricky. But also over someone say Max Homa. He's not rumored to go to LIV or anything like that. But say Max Homa goes to LIV Tour. That doesn't move the needle. He's a top 20 player in the world. It doesn't. Ricky at 150 in the world or wherever he is, that moves the needle a little bit. He's the first guy that could go that would actually move the needle. People care more about Ricky Fowler than they do Dustin Johnson.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Is that and Ricky and Dustin Johnson has won how many majors? So it's kind of crazy to think that. But, I'm trying to look it up here. I don't even know how I even search on this site where he is on the world ranking list anymore. Well, he's not in the top 100. I can tell you that much.
Ricky's 125. Remember, he was the last person that was in on the.
Right, but he wasn't 125 because it was the top 125, and then all the LIV golfers that were in
you're right. Yeah.
got bumped. I think he was like 135 or 140 or something like that.
Gotcha.
You know who's number 100 in the world rankings right now?
Who's that?
He's not on the PGA Tour anymore. He's on the LIV Tour. He started the year the 30th ranked golfer in the world, and now he is 100 in the world.
Phil?
No. Matt Wolff. No longer captain of the Dead to Me team because no longer plays on the PGA Tour.
He really is dead to you, though.
Yeah, he literally, legitly is dead to me. Yeah, I mean, it breaks my heart to have to think that Phil Mickelson, a guy that got $200 million, this week's event, where is it, in Boston or Portland, wherever this week's event is, out of the whole, however many 50-some players that are in the field, he's got the longest long shot odds to win the event. He's like,
he's been awful. Like he hasn't even been close to any of them. Neither is DJ. Like you said, Bryson.
And he got $200 million up front.
Yeah.
And
they don't even care. It's an exhibition event, and that's the biggest thing. And I think that's going to ultimately be the demise of this golf league. It's just like the XFL. It's like it's cool at first. It's gimmicky, whatever. It's people are going to tune in at the beginning, but it's like 2 years from now, is anyone going to care?
I think that's a spot on example, because as long as it's the PGA, there's still the elite, the best of the best. I don't care who goes. It's exhibition versus real golf.
Yeah.
It'll never compete, and it'll never – eventually somebody in Saudi Arabia that's controlling that trust fund or whatever it is going to have to say enough's enough, dude. I'm not spending any more money.
A win on that tour means nothing. I could care less who wins. Like,
no. Have you bet a single thing on that
no,
yet?
I never will.
Have you done any DraftKings lineups?
Nope, never will.
Me neither. Like, I don't even know how to do it, because it's like you're playing a 54-hole scramble. Like, how do you even decide who to pick? Who cares?
Did you see our boy Rob took down a showdown one day? I think it might have been the first tournament. It was like the first day of the first tournament, and he took down a showdown.
It was probably pure luck because he didn't know what he was doing either.
Yeah, he's just better at this than we are also.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk DFS and let's talk golf then. Did you learn anything this year? I know you had a very up and down year. I had a great first half of the year and a down second half of the year. I had my best ever betting year this year. Did you learn anything about yourself as a fantasy golf content creator, bettor, all that kind of stuff? Did you learn anything about yourself?
I feel like I need to put more time into betting because I feel like I'm better at it than I think I am. So that's one thing I learned. And the second thing is I started off super hot, and then I kind of tailed off in the middle, and then finished hot too. So it's like I feel like and I feel like a lot of DFS players do it. It's like you have to trust your process. And I know that sounds like cliche, but like you really do. You need to get a set pattern, accept that you're going to lose most of the time, and then try to hit those big ones. I mean, I was tinkering so much, it was ridiculous. Like I would make lineups and then go lay in my bed and like go back through the lineups and tinker. And it's like, that's typically how you lose, because you're talking yourself out of stuff. You're overthinking it. It's like what you think most of the time at the beginning is probably the way you should go, honestly. And I mean, last week I didn't win like life-changing money, but I put a $5 entry in, finished third in a GPP with doing zero research. I didn't listen to one show. I didn't look up one stat. I was going on gut feelings and pricing. Like I looked at pricing and I said, this guy scores. This guy has a chance to move up the board. I had Rory, luckily, which is good. But I mean, like I was 1 point away from winning a GPP with doing no research. It's like I'm not saying that that's going to happen all the time, but it's like I feel like sometimes I do the opposite of what I should do. I do too much research.
Yeah, I got to figure it out. Like you bring up an excellent point where we don't focus enough on the betting aspect of it. All we care about is our 4 or 5 outrights. And hitting 6 outrights this year, that was fantastic. I was excited about it. Hitting 2 majors and the players. I mean, that's hard to do. But if I put that much thought process into the outrights, why am I not betting 5 or 6 top 10s or top 20s a week? We have enough knowledge, like, to call that out. And why am I not putting that time into? I put so much time into my lineups. Why don't I just put a little of that time into picking 5 top 20 guys?
It's almost like we should flip it. Like we should almost spend as much time as we do on DFS on betting, and then put a little bit. Like DFS is so much harder to win. It's like you're competing against yourself and then also everybody else. It's like whereas betting, it's like it doesn't matter if you bet it and I bet it. Like we're all winning the same amount of money. So
Yeah, I think that, I mean, because that's, if you look at it, like every outright I hit was in my player pool, and most of the time, if I bet 4 outrights, even if they don't all hit, almost every time, all 4 of them are in the top 20. So, and they're all in my player pool. So why am I not, what do they call it? Where you bet, you bet an outright each way or whatever it's called. So you're betting them to win, you're betting them top 10, you're betting on the top 20. So when you come close and a guy almost wins, you're still cashing, you're still making money. I think the way for 2023 for me is to stick to my same process of figuring out who I like each week, which is going to be very basic statistical analysis, listen to one podcast, and then my bankroll could stay the same every single week. But instead of putting 20 lineups and 25 lineups into DFS max entries, play 3, 5 lineups a week, and then have, instead of just my 5 outrights, 5 top 20s, and whatever not else, because I think we're leaving a lot of money on the table there.
I think part of it too is learning which contest that you do good at. Like some people are mass multi-enter, 150 lineups. They want the most chances possible. I feel like for me, my bread and butter needs to be single entries and 3 maxes, where I'm not playing guys that have 150 lineups. Like mine the other day was a $5 single entry with 1,900 people, and I finished 3rd. It's like,
well, that's how I had
point away from
success in the
winning.
showdowns. I've been doing the 1,700 person single entry showdowns every single week. And again, I think I was like 45th place past weekend in one of them. And I mean, it wasn't a huge cash, but it was a nice little cash. It covered my entire week worth of entries and bets. But, I think our process is there. The goal over the fall swing, maybe shrink our bankroll a little bit, less money, but really refine it for the real, like the West Coast swing and the Florida swing, what events to be in and what to bet. Because I think the betting aspect of it, we often on this show, but also as just us guys, we miss it because we're so focused on finding the 25 guys to put in my player pool or 30 guys to put in lineups. I think we miss out on a lot right there.
Well, I think too, it's tempting with DraftKings. It's like you look at these contests and you see, oh my God, I can win $50,000. It's like, well, yeah, if you beat 98,000 people, like, which is likely not going to happen. I mean, that's like winning a lottery. Like
we're not Rob.
Yeah, we're not Rob. So, I mean, I feel like finding the contest with 2,000 people, with 5,000 people, like that's got to be the bread and butter. And the single entries where you're not competing against 20 lineups or 150 lineups, that's for me, that's what I'm going to do next year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much my plan. And I'm going to work on it in the fall tour, refining that, because I'm going to continue playing single entry and 3, maybe 3 max entries, but that's it in the fall tour. And I'm going to work on trying to figure out that cracking that. I see so many DFS and betting golf guys that have just cracked that top 20 and figured out how to make money week in and week out betting top 20s. So I think that's one of my top goals for 2023.
Can I tell you about a pet peeve I have when it comes to betting?
Yeah.
The guy who bets 100 things a week and then touts himself as the betting expert.
Yeah.
That drives me insane. I mean, you and I are like, we bet 3 guys a week or 5 maybe or like whatever. It's like
on a major week, I've got 5 bets. Otherwise, it's less than that.
Yeah. Oh, I've hit 12 outrights. Well, yeah, you bet 19 guys a week to win. It's like, I mean,
there were 30 guys in the event, and you bet 21 of them.
Yeah, I mean, cool, but you're probably losing a lot of money overall too. And I like to see too, like when people are honest about like, our buddy Brian does that, where like he's honest about like, I've been sucking. Like I'm up this many units for the year, but I've been in a slump. It's like I like honesty, and I appreciate guys who talk about like, wow, that was a terrible pick. Like, oh, I bet so and so, that was awful. Like.
I show my people my badness. When I have a bad lineup or a bad player pool or bad bets, I share it all out there. I think accountability is something the DFS, golf, and sports in general space lacks. People they brag about their hits and just they become ghosts when they're losing. And I think more people need to look. I respect somebody when they tell me, I had a bet. Look, I tell everybody, look, my account went up 200% this year, and then the last 6-8 weeks, it dropped about 100%. You know what I mean? Because I had a bad stretch from about after because I hit Cam Smith and I won a lot at the Open. Since the Open, I haven't had a profit. Well, I broke even this past week, but that's because I did so little and I had one good showdown. But I haven't had a winning week since the Open. And I don't brag about it, but I talk about it. I think it's needed to be done.
Well, and I think on a lot of shows you see two guys talking back and forth. Well, I'll name 60 guys. Well, if I hit the winner, I mean, how many bad picks did I have too? Like, yeah, it's like I named 50 people. I got the winner, but like, what about the 30 that I had that missed the cut? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of like one of my pet peeves in this industry a little bit.
In general, in social media, like I talked about it on my morning show today, trending in the AM, because the Eagles 50, all the teams are cutting their NFL teams are cutting down to their 53-man roster, and I saw so many content creators like bragging that I told you that guy was going to get cut. I'm like, dude, he was the 93rd guy on the roster. No shit, he was missing the cut. Let's not brag about Jack Sullivan getting cut from the Detroit Lions because he was 5 years old. Like, we knew he was going to miss the cut. Come on, guys. It's a little overblown. Can you hear me? He can't hear me. You got your earbuds on.
He came right in when you said that. No, I agree with you too. It's like it's very easy to tout yourself when you're saying stuff like that too. And I feel like it's part of like I always talk about this, and you know this is like being my friend, like the look at me culture of like, I love people that are like our buddy Rob, where it's like, yeah, I win all the time. I don't really need to talk about it. Like, do you ever hear him talk about it? No, we try to get it out of him. Like, how much did you win? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, but he's not sitting there saying, oh, I won 10 grand, blah, blah, blah. It's like, those are the people that I appreciate. It's like the people that are smart and that don't need to talk about. Yeah, exactly. Humble. Exactly.
All right. So I already said it. I say Jon Rahm, Xander, if he stays on the tour, and Rory are three of my major champions. Do you have any bold predictions for next year?
I don't know about bold predictions, but I think Rory gets one next year for sure. You're saying that too. I think Rahm bounces back. I don't think I have I guess somewhat bold. I think that Sam Burns wins the major here sooner or later.
Okay. I actually had on my list of notes for tonight, well, mental notes, that either Sam Burns or Max Homa. I've got I don't know which order yet. I got Rahm, Rory, Xander, and either Burns or Homa winning a major next year.
I think Sungjae wins one soon too. I don't know about next year, but soon.
Possibly. And I think I don't know if it's a bold prediction because he's ranked number 3 in the world, but I think Rory overtakes Scotty as number 1 in the world ranking. I don't know, how he's going to do it, but I just see it happening. He's just going to go.
Do you think Scotty keeps it up? Like, do you think? I mean, I'm not saying like stays number 1. I mean, do you think he just kind of keeps up the solid play?
Yeah, I do. But when you win 4 tournaments in a year, the odds are you're not going to win 4 tournaments next year.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
You're going to win 1 maybe. You know what I mean? Look at Jon Rahm last year to this year. Did Jon Rahm even win it? He won in Mexico or Punta Cana or something like that.
He won one of those small, yeah.
Yeah. But
he was like the 3-1 favorite or something.
I mean, Jon Rahm had his worst year of his career, and I don't think he ever finished outside the top 25. It felt like this year. But you always have a letdown in golf to an extent. And I don't know if he will or not, but I don't know how the world rankings work, to be honest with you, like how the points work. But Rory is not that far back. So it's not going to take much for him to overtake him.
I have a question for you. I mean, I probably should know this as a golf fan, but I don't. Are tournaments weighted more at the end of the year than they are at the beginning of the year, or are they all weighted the same?
They are weighted more in the points things based off of the strength of schedule. That's how they're weighted. So depending, like, how many guys in the top 20 are in it, then that's also how the FedEx Cup rankings go. That's why Tony Finau winning 2 small events late in the year didn't jump him up to number 1 in the FedEx Cup standings because they were weaker fields. So everything is weighted by strength of schedule, strength of field. Sorry.
So Scheffler winning 4. I mean, really, the Masters was strong, obviously, but like the other ones probably were smaller events. So there's
the Waste Management had a decent strength of schedule.
Right.
But still, he still won 4, so that helped. And it wasn't like he had a long way. So he started the year as the 12th ranked golfer and ended 1 by winning 4 events. Rory McIlroy's 3. Say he comes out and wins the Masters. That's earlier in the year. That'll put him right up to number 1.
For sure.
And he can,
For sure. He was right there this year. I mean, he didn't contend really, but he was second. I mean, which is weird to say, but like he was never going to win.
He backdoored that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He chipped in on 18.
But I mean, he's right there at the Open. I mean, he's right there in a lot of tournaments. It's like a couple bounces go his way and he wins the Open. So
yeah, I mean that's all I got. I mean, I don't know if you got anything else to think about from this year. What do you have anything that stands out? A favorite bet you made? A favorite tournament that you watched? A favorite something from this year?
honestly, to me this year, I feel like the Masters was my favorite tournament of the year, and then the Open. Okay, my kid's showing me how much money he has right now, so it's all about the money. But yeah, I mean the Masters and the Open, obviously with it being at St. Andrews again, I think that was big, and the Tiger thing. And it's like, and I think this year we kind of realized we knew it anyway, that like how big of a important thing Tiger Woods is, but him turning down the 700, 800 million, whatever it was, to not go to LIV, to stay with the PGA Tour, kind of made me like him even more and realize like how important he is to everything.
Will he play golf in 2023?
Yes.
Will he play
I think
more than the Masters?
I think more than this year.
Yeah. So he only played 2 events this year. So he's going to play more.
I think he plays 8 to 10 next year.
Wow. That's actually a really bold prediction right there.
Yeah.
That really is. And that would be fantastic for the game of golf if he does. Even if he just makes the cut in all of them. So that'd be pretty awesome. All right. We're going to wrap up season 2 of Fairway to Heaven here. Again, make sure you hit like and hit subscribe on this. We're going to be back in a couple weeks. We're going to take the 2 weeks off. I don't know if the first event, the fortnight, is when I'm on vacation or not. If it is, then maybe the week after that we'll come back and we'll do another show. We'll start season 3 off strong. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We've had fun. We got to thank Fantasy National. They've given us the tools at their website to do our models and stuff like that. Again, like and share and retweet and follow all of us here, please. And everybody have a great one. Jason, thank you very much for season 2, Fairway to Heaven. I couldn't do it without you, man. And a few weeks were off, man. I missed you desperately.
I know. Been through some stuff this year, but we're back in business now. So
I gotta say, I'm gonna give it to you live on the air here. You are awesome. You have had a rough year, and my man Jack, man, I hope he kicks ass in kindergarten this year.
He's done it so far.
Too far.
That's right. Off. I like how you've already asked me that. Let's just tell people real quick that you've asked me 2 times if he's got sent to the principal's office. He's gone to school twice so far.
I'm sorry.
Both days you asked.
Hey, I'm just saying. Saying. I know what you're doing. I'm just taking it from what I assume you were like as a kid.
Well, no, I was very quiet, but he's a criminal in the making. We all know it, and he's just a little shy right now. So give him a couple weeks, and he'll be good to go.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up right there for Training the AM. Again, Jason Sullivan. I'm Phil
Wrong
Stiefel.
show.
Yeah, wrong. What did I say?
Trending in the AM.
Oh shit. That's only the second time I've done that this year, I think. Okay, for Fairway to Heaven, that's Jason Sullivan. I am Phil Stiefel. At least I called you by your right name. Everybody have a great night. We'll be back for season 3 in a couple of weeks. Yo, thanks a lot, guys.